Hello everyone. Today we will be talking about solar power, the feasibility and challenges of future energy. As we all know, renewable energy is becoming increasingly important in addressing climate change and reducing our reliance on fossil fuels. Among all renewable sources, solar power is one of the most promising because it is abundant, clean, and sustainable. In this presentation, we will explore not only the feasibility of solar energy, but also the challenges that come with its large-scale adoption.
We will introduce it in 6 parts. First, I will briefly introduce what solar energy is and why it is important. Solar power is a clean and renewable energy source that converts sunlight directly into electricity using photovoltaic cells. This energy can be used not only for electricity generation, but also for heating and transportation. Most importantly, solar power is zero emission, helping to reduce dependence on fossil fuels and positively impacting the environment and the climate. And then solar power can replace fossil fuels, reducing greenhouse gas emissions and helping combat climate change. And also in Australia, abundant sunlight provides a natural advantage for solar energy. What's more, the solar power can provide more job opportunities. So that's all my part for the presentations. And then my group member Sam will introduce the land use of solar energy.
There are 4 different common types of solar land use. First up is solar panels that are installed on rooftops of buildings, individual houses, essentially any structure with a roof. It's built on top of existing structures, so there's no additional land use. Then it's solar farms, which are large acres of open land with rows and rows of solar panels built. Depending on location and panel efficiency, these solar farms usually take up to 10 acres per megawatt. Solar farms tend to compete with agriculture and natural habitats for land. Then is agrophotovoltaics, which are solar panels installed on farmlands, so they coexist with crops and livestock, creating a dual purpose land. They typically takes 5 to 10 acres per megawatt, but these acres of land remain productive in their agriculture use. Photovoltaics are solar panels mounted on pontoons on water body surfaces, which uses no land. Out of the 4 types, rooftops and photovoltaics are the most land use efficient, using no additional land, building on existing structures or natural water bodies. Agrivoltaics is medium to high land use efficiency as it's efficient in its dual land use aspect, whereas utility scale solar farms aren't necessarily land use efficient despite being cost efficient and being able to produce large scale of energy. It just takes up way too much space, land that can't be used for anything else. However, by defining land use differently, these types of solar energy rank differently. In terms of minimizing land footprint, rooftop and floating comes first, but agrophotovoltaics can be argued to be the most land use efficient as it gets the most out of the piece of land that is also used for its other aspects. So the good and the bad of solar land use. Solar energy offers a wide range of land use options, allows for dual use land sharing, and can be done in a large scale, as well as delivering economics and environmental benefits. On the flip side, solar energy could lead to land use conflicts, disturb ecosystems, strain water and infrastructure supplies, and solar farms in particular requires a substantial amount of land.
Now let's explore the relationship between solar energy and carbon dioxide. As shown in the table on the left, in many countries, solar energy and carbon dioxide emission reduction are always closely related. For instance, studies in Indonesia and China have confirmed significant emission reduction effects. Furthermore, Guinea's more extensive and detailed predictions in 2022 indicated that solar energy can indeed reduce carbon dioxide emissions. Furthermore, since the power generation industry is the main source of greenhouse gas emissions, as shown in the table on the right, The emission per kilowatt-hour of solar energy is approximately 18 times lower than that of coal and about 9 times lower than that of natural gas. This represents a very significant reduction in carbon dioxide emissions. But why isn't it zero emissions? Although solar power generation does not require fuel during operation and does not directly produce carbon dioxide emissions, the diagram above indicates it is not entirely carbon-free. When considering the entire life cycle from manufacturing and transporting solar panels to installation and eventual recycling, emissions are still generated.
So I will discuss the feasibility of solar power in Australia. First, Australia receives some of the highest solar radiation in the world, around 58 million petajoules annually. Regions like the Northern Territory and Western New South Wales enjoy nearly 300 sunny days a year, making solar a naturally abundant resource. Then, this potential is already evident. Over 30% of households have rooftop solar, the highest uptake globally. South Australia is a good example, where over 70% of electricity now comes from renewables, mostly solar, supported by the Tesla home-style power reserve, which stabilizes the grid. And when it comes to economic, technical, and policy feasibility, first, economically, solar is highly competitive as panel costs have fallen. Large projects such as the 400 megawatt Western Downs Green Power Hub show the viability of utility-scale solar. While generation and demand don't always align, battery storage provides effective solutions. Government incentives and the national target of 82% renewable electricity by 2030 further strengthens the solar's future. So, in short, with the abundant sunlight, falling costs, proven storage solutions, and supportive policies, solar energy is not only feasible but central to Australia's clean energy transition.
Let me start by summarizing our main findings. Solar power cuts carbon dioxide emissions by 94% compared to fossil fuels. Australia has some of the best sunlight in the world, and solar costs keep getting cheaper with strong government support. But we do face real challenges. Big solar farms need lots of land, which can compete with farming. The biggest problem is that solar only works when the sun shines, so we absolutely need better batteries and smarter grids to store and manage this power. Here's the bottom line. Solar technology isn't just a nice idea for Australia's future. It's actually essential if we want to reach our goal of 82% clean energy by 2030. We have the sun, we have the technology, and we have the opportunity. Now we just need to solve the storage and land use challenges to make it work. So where do we go from here? We need to focus on two main areas. First, technology solutions. We need much better battery storage system that can hold solar energy for when the sun isn't shining. We also need smarter power grids that can handle all this solar electricity coming from thousands of homes and solar farms. Second, we need to be creative about land use. Agrivoltaic systems let farmers grow crops under solar panels, so you get food and electricity from the same piece of land. We can also put solar panels on water. These floating solar installations don't use any land at all and work better because the water keeps them cool. Solar technology really is a viable pathway for Australia's energy transition.